On this episode of The Sequence, I'm checking out the MPC with the SP-404 Mark II. I know you've been waiting for that, and I definitely want to hear from you guys as I weigh in with my thoughts about the workflow. The Sequence. So the main question on everyone's mind is, can you use the Roland SP-404 Mark II in tandem with the MPC as an audio interface? For those who don't know, the AKAI MPC can use audio interfaces and expand the I/O on it. So what I'm going to do is just open up an empty project. I have my SP-404 hooked up via the USB Type-C on the back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it up to the MPC right now so you can see how that works. And I know it's not a thing that everybody has an issue with, but I still want to do it just in case somebody doesn't know. So I'm going to press the menu button right here one time, and it's going to bring me into the browser features right here. And then I'll hit this cogwheel, and then I have access to audio devices. Now, when I go over here to audio devices, I need to switch it over to the Roland SP-404 Mark II, and you can see it's right there. You can see it says SP-404 Mark II. When I select it though, I met with this error. Then it says error 44.1 kilohertz may not be supported, sample rate on the external device. So the issue with the SP-404 hooking up to the MPC, in which I hope Roland does change this, or AKAI figures out something on their end, is this unit, as far as an audio interface goes, is in 48 kilohertz. So that is kind of a bummer that it doesn't have both 44.1 kilohertz and 48 kilohertz. But yeah, that's the only reason why you can't hook it up and use it as an audio interface. So the answer is no, unfortunately, for now. You never know what will happen in the future. So the next question is this right here. Well, can you hook up or use the SP-404 with the MPC? And the answer is yes. So what I did, instead of hooking it up as an audio interface, which would have been cooler, but I could still access some of the features from the Roland SP-404, like processing sound. So you need to hook up either via your line outs or your headphone jack out. I just used the headphone jack out, the 1/4" jack out, and I hooked it up there, and then I put it into the line ends of the SP-404. So the main thing that you need to do just to circumvent that is this right here. So you need to hit the external source. So what I'm going to do is show proof in the pudding here, and go to a plugin, and then I'll turn the external source off, and you will hear no sound. Now I turned it back on, and you can hear sound. So you can run the SP-404, or you can run the MPC to the SP-404 through the traditional line outs. So once you got it hooked up, what can you do with it? That's what I'm about to answer. So now that I have it hooked up, what are the main things that I can do? So what I'm going to do is just load up a project here. So I'm going to find the project here. I got this De La Soul beat I made. Shout out to De La Soul. And what we're going to do is just allow some time to work. And we have a track. So now I have the track loaded up. What I want to do next is this right here. I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the effects here. So what I'm going to do it live. So as you can hear, when I have the MPC Live plugged up to the SP-404 Mark II, I can use the effects in here. So what are the coolest things about it? Well, one, you have something a little extra for your performances if you're not used to or not keen with this right here, which is the XY effects on the MPC. But the XY effects work well, and I like them, but you know, more the merrier, right? What I want to do here is this. Now I'm going to show you some of the lo-fi features on the MPC first. So a lot of people don't know that AKAI has a lo-fi plugin. So if I was to delete this track here, and then I will go into, I believe, harmonics. So I go into harmonics and pull up Air Lo-Fi, and then I have lo-fi right here. But it's not on yet, and that's because I need to go ahead and dial it in. Make sure that your Q link is on the first dot over here, on the first, you see it. But I'm gonna go ahead and reduce the bit depth to about 12. I do 12.1, and then I will play it. So, you know, with more bit depth comes more stuff that you can manipulate with the sample rate. They're both tied to each other. So you can manipulate your digital audio converters and do a whole bunch of lo-fi on here. You can also add clipping and stuff like that, which helps. Key is not to add too much clipping because then it tears the track apart, and you want your track to hold better in the frequencies by taking away just a little bit, not a whole bunch, and it'll also give you some more punch to your hip hop track. So now we're messing with rectify. About the same thing. You kind of want to mess with that just slightly. It depends on your style of music. You know, you might want to go nuts. Noise mod is another thing that's cool because it adds a lot of, I would say, harmonic distortion at the bottom end. Which helps the track gel a little bit better. So now I know y'all not here for me to explain something that I've already explained on this channel. Y'all are here to hear it through the SP404. So what I'm gonna do here is delete that plugin, and also, you know, as a warning, the volume might change a little bit while I'm doing this, so I'll have to adjust accordingly. So don't trip in the comment section. So what I'm gonna do is hold the MFX, and we're gonna access the lo-fi effect first, and let's hear it without it, and now with it. Adjust those on the fly as long as the MFX is on. And as you can hear, the lo-fi is very unique on the SP404. I don't want to say that it's the best or anything like that because people have personal preference, but I will say that it is very unique and I quite enjoy it. But there are other lo-fi features on this thing too as well. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just move on to cassette tape, because that's a thing, right? So I'm gonna turn it off and then play the beat. And then let's add MFX in there. Mess with the age. Now it's off. Now it's back on. And that's not it. There is a 404 vinyl sim, which is cool. I like it. So you can hear it now. Let's go ahead and play with it on. Take some of the noise out. Mess with the frequency. And it sweeps through the high and low frequency content. So it just depends on you and how you want it. And there is one more, of course, and this is my personal favorite because it is the exact same emulation as the SP303. And if you don't know, the SP303 is an extremely rare find. So if you have an SP303, know that the vinyl simulation on there is adored by every lo-fi head that, you know, does their thing on the hardware end of things. But there is a plugin that actually does the exact same thing. But let's go ahead and hear that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start with it on. Now we'll turn it off. It's very subtle, but you can hear it. Now it's on. Yeah, that is fire. So the thing that I like about the SP303 effect versus the 404 vinyl simulation, the 303 vinyl sim, it's just, it has what, instead of having frequency sweeping, it has compression in it. Let's turn on the flutter. Turn up the volume a little bit. Yeah, so you can really get some lo-fi stuff, and I like the compression on the SP404. I adore it, by the way. And again, if I was to play the track and go through different effects, you know, I can do all the main effects here, and I've talked about it in a beginner's guide too, by the way. It'll be in the description box. Yeah, pretty cool, right? Last but not least, there is something that I truly adored about my live stream last time, which I expected to do a terrible beat. But in reality, you can use your MPC as a sound module and just process some of the sounds that you already have onto the SP404 while you're sequencing it on there. Now, this is the lengthy part of this video. So now what I'm gonna do is just make sure that I'm on an empty bank here, and I don't have anything on here. What I wanna do is just go and let's start a new project, and let's see if we can cook something up raw here. I won't go through everything, but you know, I'll just go through the main tidbits of this process here. So as you know, the SP404 was like ideal for doing a few things. One of the main things is just processing sound altogether. So if you make like sample packs and you have the patience to go through that process, you will be heavily rewarded whatever you do. So I accessed the plugin on the MPC, and it's the Hype Synth. So we can hear it here. What I'm gonna do is find the right sound for this process here. And what I'll do is grab that, and I'll get back to you on that. So I'm gonna go into progressions and find a cool chord progression or a cool chord on the MPC. And let's go into chord pools. Chord pools is pretty dope. Yeah. So now just pick out a sound I really can get with. So I'm gonna go back into my pad performance over here, and you can see the progression here, which starts off with a A-flat major ninth, and then an E-B major ninth, or an E-flat, and then to an E-flat 6, or an E major ninth. So what if I wanted to engage lo-fi and then play these chords in here? And let's hear that without the effect. With the effect. All right. Now, what I'm gonna do here is make sure that I have the BPM set, so I would go into like pattern select or something like that, and make sure, or adjust the BPM here. I'll take 90 BPM. That'll be fine. And then I'll just get out of pattern select, go over here, press shift and metronome, make sure that's on, because when I resample, you'll hear a count. And that way you'll have a good gauge of where you need to be on the sampling. So I'm gonna pick this pad out, and then I'm going to press the pad again when I'm ready. Then record complete. Once you hit that, then it's in the pad. Now in comparison, you can hear that it added some lo-fi to it, and then I can go from there. Maybe I want to go ahead and grab some drums. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some drums out of the expansion here. One of my favorite expansions for the MPC, especially for like lo-fi hip hop, is this right here, which is Pad Thai. So I like those drums. I'm gonna go with that. And now I'm gonna do something a little different this time. But I'm going to resample. I'm gonna resample into this track right here, or this pad right here, my bad. And then I'm gonna go over here to the drum program and then select my drum program. I'm gonna give it a little bit more volume. All right, so now that we have that established, let's go ahead and resample. And I'm not really worried about the metronome this time, so I'll just turn that off. And we're just gonna simply sample the drums in. And mind you that this is how the drums sound already. So let's turn on the effect and tinker with the effect until we have something we like. I like how booming it sounds on here. All right, now let's go into resample that pad, then hit start. There we go, and then hit record because we're done. Now let's chop up track number 2 here as it plays. I'm gonna press shift and chop, and now I'm in chop mode. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just and now that I have that, I'm just gonna make sure that my kick is on point. And then, you know, you could just go ahead and adjust everything after the fact. So I'm good with everything the way it is. And now I'll just press down on this push the enter knob and assign the pads. And I know most people will wonder, you know, why did I not adjust anything? Well, don't worry about that. I'm just gonna lay it in the 5. There we go. And then I'll enter the chop. Go over here, adjust the start and end points, do anything I need to do, normalize like that kick, so the kick has some bump to it. Adjust the start and end points of this right here. So let's go ahead and adjust the start point right here. And let's adjust the hat here. And I'm gonna go ahead and truncate. So let's truncate everything. Okay. Then I'm gonna adjust the envelope on here because I got a little bit of a pop, and then we can go from there. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. So I'm gonna lay that out. Let's go ahead and lay that out. I'm gonna go ahead and go into pattern select, pattern record. Make sure that you're on a fresh pattern. So I'm gonna go over here and make sure that the pattern is fresh. And then that's what we'll record stuff in. Just gonna press record. It's gonna give me the bars. I want 4 bars. All right, and I'm gonna turn off the quantize. And here we go. All right, let's go. Foundation. And there we have it. We have something going. So the next thing I want to do is something very simple. I'm going to go ahead and exit out a pattern. And then I'm going to use the bass. I'm going to grab a bass somewhere that I think is nice. All right, so let's go ahead and do a quick resample here. And so I'm going to go and sample into 3. So let's go ahead and resample that up. Make sure that your BPM is set properly. And then once you're ready to go, you just hit a pad. Make sure that your metronome is on. And just go when you're ready. And hit record complete to stop it, and they'll perfectly chop it as long as you're on time. If your timing is good, you'll be good to go. I just turned gate off too because I don't want that to play all the way through. But I'll stop it right here. And now just go back to your pattern. You can record it into your pattern if that's the way you desire to do so. So let's go ahead and do that. Pattern. Let's go record. Let's get it going. I was a little behind, but you know, you get the idea. So, tell me how you feel about this video. I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Well, I did a whole entire live stream, which I didn't expect a lot of people to watch it, but many people had the same kind of idea that I'm showing off in this video. And hopefully I answered all your questions. And the main one that will probably be on your mind is it necessary for you to have a SP-404 Mark II or any version of the 404 with the MPC? And I'm gonna say straight up, no, it's not necessary at all. It's just something that I like to do. I'm a huge groove box fan, and I know a lot of you guys are collectors and stuff like that, but you got to keep in mind that if you buy one thing that does the exact same thing as others, you know, I'll do a whole on comparison video in another one, but yeah, it's a thing that a lot of us struggle with is, yeah, should we get this and should we get that to do this, and will it be appropriate? And the answer is no, but yeah, it just depends on your needs at the end of the day. So just let me know how y'all guys feel in the comment section, and yeah, hope you enjoyed.
Nintendo.
you.